coming to the next topic is the Treasury itself. What is this really going to mean? I mean, right now the bond market is falling.
Yes.
What is not being reported and what people don't understand is the dollar is losing its value. This is like the scary, my worst fear when Trump got in was exactly what is happening now. And it's not ice. Okay? Our whole system of our money is based on really a Ponzi scheme. And it's really fucking scary. And it's really delicate. And part of that is this idea that we issue debt. So we have debt coming due every year. And we issue new debt to not only cover our old debt, but, when they have those conversations about raising the debt ceiling, that's to issue new debt. So it's this idea that we just keep rolling over debt. Who buys our debt? We've had China, because we're the world's reserve currency. China buys our debt. Japan was one of the major buyers of our debt.
I think they own the most.
Right. And Saudi Arabia was one of the Saudi Arabia deal was the OPEC deal that was negotiated by Ford in the 70s. Right? Actually, not Ford, Kissinger, believe it or not. It was the OPEC deal. It was that deal. So in other words, OPEC basically said, we will ensure that oil can only be purchased with the US dollar. And in exchange for that, in exchange for security for Saudi Arabia, which we provide, right? We are the ones that provide security for Saudi Arabia. They would buy our treasury bonds and ensure that was the reserve currency and that oil could only be transacted with in dollars. So what happened? Everybody going out and cheering the whole Maduro thing, you're an idiot. You're just a fucking idiot. Venezuela is an OPEC country. Okay? Right? An attack on Venezuela is an attack on OPEC. Dumbasses. Okay?
That will resonate.
So what ends up happening? Well, Saudi Arabia now says, well, you attacked an OPEC country and you stole our oil. Okay? Right? Because at the end of the day, it's all Saudi Arabia's oil, right? Like it's this Ponzi scheme. So now Saudi Arabia is kind of like sitting there going like, yeah, you know what? When the debt comes due, we're just not going to buy any more debt. So China stopped buying, Japan stopped buying. There's literally no takers of U.S. debt, U.S. treasuries. So Besant in 2026 has to sell, get this, $3 trillion worth of U.S. debt in 2026. Otherwise, the U.S. defaults. Okay? And right now there are no buyers, right? And remember, Trump is out there threatening tariffs on people. Nobody trusts the United States anymore. Like, the delicate balance is the idea of trust. Okay? NATO, this idea that the OPEC treaty, I mean, there are all these treaties out there, okay? We had treaties with the Netherlands, all these treaties out there that Trump is just saying, fuck you, I don't give a shit. And MAGA's sitting there like, yeah, we finally have a tough president, but you have to keep in mind, all of these treaties, all of this stuff, all balanced our economy, okay? The New World Order is coming. Now, whether you like it or not, BRICS is real. BRICS now says that you can transact in buying oil in other denominated currencies. OPEC has now agreed to that.
Wow.
So we are done. Our dollar is now done. That $30 trillion in debt, it could easily be $100 trillion by the end of the year. Okay?
Really?
When I say that this country can't afford these warehouses, right? That I'm saying short term we can't even afford those warehouses because the more money that they pour into the warehouses, okay, the more money that comes away from healthcare, from other services, roads, water, sewer, like all the other agencies. The reason why they want to get rid of all the other agencies is because they want to put everything in the Department of Homeland Security. They want everything into ICE. They want a secret police force that's going to control the population when the shit hits the fan. Right? And it's going to hit the fan.
Looks like it might be hitting the fan a little sooner than they anticipated from what you're saying.
You know, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of nuance to this. I can tell you that Jerome Powell, right? And listen, I'm not a big fan of Jerome Powell, but Jerome Powell is literally holding this country together by a thread. Okay? And Trump is trying to pull that thread out. And it can go up like a tinderbox just like that. Like we are on the precipice of a new world order. So when I say, you know, what happens when we can't afford these warehouses, because the deportations all reside on the idea that we're paying other countries to take these immigrants. If our money is now worthless, the other countries don't need our money anymore. They're not going to take our money, right? Like, think about that, okay? If they can't use our money as the reserve currency to buy oil and resources for themselves, right, which is really what they're doing, okay, then that's the end of it, okay? Then we have nowhere to send them because we have nobody to bribe to take these people.
And that's where you come to that question about what is the final solution.
What is the final solution? Because at the end of the day, there is no way America can afford these things. In fact, a lot of what America has now, it's not going to be able to afford in a year. They've literally run this country into the ground at this point in time.
In a year's time. Think about that.
In a year's time. They listen, we were always on this path. Okay? This path was always, you know, this path was always there for us. Okay? Trump just put it on steroids and decided that he was just going to jack it up really quick and just expedite shit.
Yeah.
You know, and listen, not for nothing, he gave $40 billion to Argentina, which Argentina immediately handed over to a U.S. private equity firm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Think about
because they needed to pay off their debt. So we bailed out a private equity firm, right? One of these billionaires, we bailed them out. Everything is about bailouts. And now he wants to give another $500 billion, $500 billion, right? To Alberta, Canada, right? To secede from Canada. Now, here's going to be the part. I guarantee you, whoever those separatists are up in Canada, you give them $500 billion, they're buying a fucking island and they're gone.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They're walking off with our tax dollars. $500 billion.
Right.
I heard there was talk about that, but I didn't hear about that. $500 billion? What the fuck?
$500 billion. So Alberta can join the United States, but I guarantee you those fuckers are taking that money and they're opening up their own island. They may buy Epstein Island for $8 billion. You know, like, I mean, seriously, these guys are going to be gone so quick. Like, those people up there, listen, they may not be happy, right, with certain things, but they love their education and their free education, and they love their healthcare. And being a part of the United States, where they're basically going to be told, you could homeschool and we're not paying for your health care anymore. Those people are going to turn around and run back to Canada so quick it won't even be funny.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they're just looking to make a fast buck. So, yeah, so this is pretty fucked up. And it's interesting.
Right.
I don't think people realize this is probably even bigger than anything else that's going on, because if we are bankrupt, that's going to bankrupt the country. You know.
Here's the thing. We have never seen in modern history, right, a reserve currency, right, that ends up going bankrupt. We have never seen that before. We don't know what the consequences of that actually is at this point in time. Okay? And the consequences of which could be the most devastating, right? Like the Great Depression,
Nothing.
that may look great comparatively speaking to what we might see. Okay? I mean, at a minimum you're talking about a devaluation of the dollar.
Massive devaluation from what you're saying.
Correct. Like we're already seeing these things. We're already seeing prices go up. Prices aren't ever going to go down. Prices are going to continue to go up. It's going to be really, really bad. You know, the idea of oil production, right, has gone down in the United States. They're capping wells in the United States, or refineries are closing down in the United States because they don't have the right crude oil to refine. The United States
Let
is
me
not in
just let
a
me
position of power right now.
Well, there's that, and let me just ask you this, to that point about oil, could it also be that, our buyers that used to buy from us are now buying from other sources? And so they don't have a market to sell that oil as that they had a year
No,
ago.
there's always, listen, everybody, the oil consumption, right, is the highest it's ever been. Okay? You
That
know,
this is worldwide.
the world is, the world's need for oil it just continues to grow. The US just doesn't have the ability to produce what it was able to produce, a few years ago. And what we're seeing, so this happens from time to time, and apparently we're now entering the phase of probably about, because the last time this happened in the US, it was about 20 years. We're entering the phase of about 20 years where oil production will steadily decline before we can get it back up again.
Wow. Okay. So that's also going to have, an impact on
We're
everything here
we
going on here.
they are we I'm all I'm going to say is our politicians have failed us so miserably, okay? Because of the fact that they relied on the United States being the reserve currency of the world, okay? They have rested on their laurels. They didn't understand what it was that they were supposed to be doing, right? And the sensitive balance that our system relied upon, Trump has decided that he's going to dismantle. Okay? And instead of our politicians saying no, right? They took money from the same assholes, okay? And they said full speed ahead. I mean, come on. Look at I mean, look at the leadership of the Democratic Party right now, right? Instead of like
Chuckles.
we're
Chuck
we're
the
we're
schmuck.
like sitting here like I think we need to start over with immigration, right? Like we're like, yeah, maybe things aren't really going the way, human rights, dignity, right? Like those are things that the American people stand for. Okay, you have Chuck Schumer going, we want in the bill not to deport American citizens. Right. The argument right now is that the Democrats are saying that American citizens shouldn't be deported, and Republicans saying, "Oh, we don't want to go that far." Right? Like this is like the fucking argument, right? As if the Constitution doesn't matter anymore, right? The Republicans and Democrats have both thrown out the Constitution. They've literally decided that they're going to make it their toilet paper and wipe their ass with it. Okay, and we're just making up the rules now as we go along. So like you have leadership saying, well, we don't think ICE should be, violating, should be entering homes without a judicial warrant.
It's kind
Let's
of
put
part of
that
the
let's put that
Constitution.
that's the Constitution, and that's actually in DHS's charter. Like, it's in their policies. Okay? Right? Like, not wearing masks. That's actually in their policies. Not shooting people, in their policies. Not stepping in front of vehicles, right? It's in their policies, right? These are all things that DHS is supposed to be following that it's not, right? So you have a lawless agency. Instead of saying this is a lawless agency, Democrats are sitting there arguing over policy that is already in place. You know, I had to hear about Benghazi for fucking 6 goddamn years.
We're still hearing about it. They'll still bring it up when they got nothing else to fight about.
I heard about Hillary's fucking emails for years. And Democrats are sitting there going, you know, maybe we shouldn't deport American citizens. No shit, Sherlock. You know, like, I mean, this is honestly the weakest Democratic Party I've ever seen in my life. They have no courage. There's no leadership here. It literally is courage. It literally is just them saying, we just need to make it, don't hit the ball to me. Like they're standing in an outfield, right? Like, this is the kid standing in right field. Don't hit the ball to me. That's Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer sitting in right field, right? With his glove at his side going, don't hit the ball to me. Don't hit the ball to me. I've had enough. Like, I mean, dude, the ball has been hit to you a million fucking times, and you've literally found a way to snatch defeat from victory, right? It's like, oh my God, we won this one. Yo, I have to figure out, give me a loss. Give me a loss. I need to lose. I need to lose. Like, he's running around looking for ways to lose. I mean, it boggles my mind. It really boggles my mind that, the judge said you have to file a lawsuit if you want the Epstein files. Nobody files a lawsuit. It's like they really just, it's like everything is performative.
Yes, from both sides.
From both sides.
Sooner or later, the people got to wake up and realize this is right, an us versus them. It's not each other.
Right. It's performative, right? They all go into a room, Trump, the Republicans and Democrats all go into a room, and they make decisions, and they say, you guys do this, we do this, and everybody will be fine. Like, and then we all come out, and you say this, and we say this. It's all theater. It's all theater. When you realize that it's all theater, okay, everybody is lying. And the reality is some third or fourth option that nobody even talks about. That's when you can wake up and realize none of these people are on your side and you need to go in a different direction. They've sold you on their bigotry and white supremacy. And you have normal people thinking, well, I'm repeating what they say, so that's okay. I'm not a racist. Like, okay, I get what you're saying, but you are. When you repeat the lies of the administration, I'm sorry, that makes you complicit in what they're doing.
Wow. So here we are. I mean, is there so do you have anything optimistic to say? Anything semi-positive? Hope? Wow, no answer.
No. I got no answer. My final thought on this is what we have community. We have our neighbors. We have each other. People need to find their way to get out of national politics. Look at their local community, look at their neighbors and say, I have to stand with these people. These are my neighbors, whether I agree with them or not. I have to stand with these people. We all have to stand together. Okay. And if we can't stand together, there will be no community left for us. There will be nothing left for us. There will be no family. There will be no friends. There will be no community. Okay? All we have is each other. We have to stick together. We have to fight together. Okay? because nobody's going to do it for us.
There you go. Yeah, you're exactly right. It's actually going to wind up in the in the same place. You know, come out, support. Remember, we had a rally in Chester. There'll be other ones. Um, I had one quick point that I just want to add on that. When we're doing rallies, we need to be out in the public more, not behind a town hall or a senior center. They need to be on the streets in front of people. So the rest of your communities that aren't paying attention to what's happening, you'd be surprised how many people just check out of politics with all that's going on and have no idea what is coming. And this, I hate to say it, but I think with this last segment regarding the dollar collapsing, I think that's inevitable at this point. I hate to say it, but that's just they are looking to game the system. They have done everything they can to kill our economy while making a fake promise that they were going to make it better. It's not better. Nothing is cheaper. Everything's getting more expensive. So we need to continue speaking out, standing up for our communities, standing up in our communities. And when it comes to these types of rallies, they shouldn't be behind a building. They should be out in front on the road where everybody can see it, in open parking lots where people can be, where we can get together and other people can come over and find out what's going on. All right. So I think we're going to wind up here. This has been an extended podcast, but um, this was a conversation that had to be had. So as usual, if you haven't already, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. I've got a little button right on the screen there on to your right that you can click on to subscribe and leave us a comment. Let us know how you feel. Always like and share. Also, we are going to be doing our Tuesday night live stream. We'll be doing it at 8 o'clock because we're just not getting back by 7 by the time we get ready. But we'll cover some stuff going on and any events that are going on there. If you have a topic you'd like us to discuss or questions you'd like us to discuss, drop them in the comments, so you can send a private message to us and we will talk about it online. All right. And that will be, I'll put up a link to our live stream for this Tuesday night, 8 p.m. And thanks so much for watching, and we will see you soon. Love you guys.
Peace out.
Peace out.